Hello, my sweet scholars. Today we are going to take some notes on order of operations, and then we're going to add some other things to that a little bit later. So we're kind of reviewing what we talked about in class today. So I'm going to start off with what order of operations is. Well, this is the order in which we solve math expressions. So we'll go ahead and add that there. So it is the order in which we solve math expressions, which is a rule. This is the rule for solving math expressions. In math, there are a lot of rules. This is one of them. So when we have a math expression, the first thing we have to do is perform any operations that are in parentheses. And if you remember from our lovely song in class yesterday, parentheses come first, and we remember that by the mnemonic device, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and please stands for parentheses. Secondly, we do exponents. Now remember I told you we're not going to have to worry about exponents this year, but we will be talking about that more at the end of this year, and you'll be doing those next year. So for this year, we kind of get to skip that number 2, but it stands for exponents or excuse. Then the next step is we do any multiplication and division from left to right. That means if I'm solving a problem and I see multiplication first from left to right, I do that. If I see division first from left to right, I do that. So it really depends on what comes first in the expression. You multiply and divide from left to right. They're kind of like equal. You do whatever comes first there. And then finally, we add and subtract from left to right, and that's our Aunt Sally, sweet Aunt Sally. So we add and subtract, and it's just like multiplication and division because you do whatever comes first from left to right. If addition comes first, you do addition. If subtraction comes first, you do subtraction. And so the way to remember that order is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And notice that I put my dear and Aunt Sally side by side. That means because you do those two from left to right, whichever one comes first. Really important to remember. So if you turn to the next page, on the back of this front page, let's do an example together. So if I am solving a problem, let's say my problem is 30 divided by parentheses 3 plus 2 times 8. Okay, and remember one way you might see another word for solve is simplify. Simplify the expression. And simplify just basically means you're going to solve this expression. So if I go through my please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, I do whatever's in parentheses first. And so if I look here, I see that 3 plus 2 is first. So that's going to be 5. I bring everything else that I haven't used down and rewrite the expression. Okay, I have no exponents. So then I multiply or divide from left to right. So if I start from left to right, division comes first, so I do that first. 30 divided by 5 is 6. And then I bring down what I haven't used. And now I multiply because I do any multiplication and division from left to right. 6 times 8 is 48. So my answer to this problem would be 48. Okay? Let's do another one. Just going to draw a little line there. What if we did 7 plus 11 in parentheses minus 8 divided by 2. Okay, so going through the order of operations again, I do anything in parentheses first, so that would be 7 plus 11, which is 18, minus a divide by 2. I don't have any exponents, so I don't worry about that. But then I multiply or divide from left to right. So I look and see, I do have division right here, so I'm going to do that first. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Bring down anything I have not done. And then I do any addition or subtraction from left to right. So 18 minus 4 would be 14. So the answer to that expression would be 14. Okay, so if you'll turn to the next page with me, there is one more piece that we can add to our order of operations. So we can use parentheses, like we said. But we can also use something called brackets to group operations that go together. And any operations that are in parentheses and brackets are always performed first. And brackets come before parentheses. So let's look at our examples here. I have 12 plus, and then I have brackets. The brackets tell me I'm going to do that absolutely first. So I look at only this expression right now, and I solve that. So I have 15 minus 5, because I have parentheses. So 15 minus 5 is 10. And then I do 9 minus 3, which is 6. And then I'm still in my brackets, so I add 10 plus 6, which is 16. Now I've solved everything in brackets, so I can go outside my brackets. So I bring down that 12 and the addition sign. And so my last operation to do is the addition. So 12 plus 16 is 28. So my answer there is 28. Okay, over here, same thing. I do anything in brackets first. So I'm going to do 26 minus 4, which is 22. Because I always do my parentheses first, and then 4 plus 6, which is 10. And then I subtract it because I'm still in my brackets. 22 minus 10 would be 12. Now I can go outside of my bracket to the times 5. And I know that 5 times 12 is 60. All right. That's all I have for you today. Bring these notes tomorrow to put into your journal. And have a good night. And if you have some free time, get yourself on Study Jams and sing a little Order of Operations karaoke. Your parents would love it. All right. Have a good night.